I hate the Genshin Impact Artifact system. It's a completely unhelpful statement to make. As such, I made this video to expand upon that statement and for my own entertainment in making this video. So, let's set the scene into why you should care about the artifact system being bad matters, and how it drags down the game. At the highest level of artifact domains, you are guaranteed at least a single 5-star artifact. So, how many possible artifact combinations is that? Too many, to be honest, since you'll need at a minimal 20 good enough artifacts if you want to play musical chairs with your 4 active characters, since every character needs 5 artifacts. So, let's move on to the next section where I calculate out how many possibilities that single 5-star artifact can be. Wait, I'm doing this for fun. Why am I doing math? How many layers of RNG are there? By my count, 8. So, let's define what those levels are. The first level is artifact rarity. As mentioned before, this is mitigated by the fact that the highest level of artifact domains and world level give a guaranteed of a 5-star artifact drop. Second is simply what artifact set drops. Fortunately, this is mitigated by how the drops are organized, with every 5-star artifact set being a pair. Third is straightforward, and that is the artifact slot. The 5 possibilities is of course flower, feather, sands, cup, and circlet. Fourth is a bit more complicated, and that is the artifact main stat. Only because what artifact main stat you can get is dependent on the artifact slot, with the following being what is possible. Flower has 1 potential, flat hit points. Feather has 1 potential, flat attack. Sands have 5 potentials, percent hit points, percent attack, percent defense, elemental mastery, and energy recharge. Cup has 12 potentials, percent hit points, percent attack, percent defense, elemental mastery, Animo damage bonus, Cryo damage bonus, Dendro damage bonus, Electro damage bonus, Geo damage bonus, Hydro damage bonus, Pyro damage bonus, Physical damage bonus. Circlet has 7 potentials, percent hit points, percent attack, percent defense, elemental mastery, critical rate, critical damage, healing bonus. Annoying part is I spent so much time writing this video that Dendro went from if to how to oh, it's here. So yeah, that was a small fun edit to do. The fifth is almost as simple, but gets complicated based off the artifact main stat, and that is what combination of artifact substats are on the artifact. Since, while there are only 10 artifact substats for artifacts, flat hit points, flat attack, flat defense, percent hit points, percent attack, percent defense, elemental mastery, energy recharge, critical rate, critical damage. You can't roll a substat that is the same as the main stat, so you can't get a feather with flat attack. That leaves it a bit more complex than one would want, since in 9 instances you get a full combination of 10, but in 17 you get a combination of 9. To be honest, I just looked up an online combination calculator for this part. As for those numbers, a combo of 10 has 210 combinations, while the combo of 9 has 126 combinations. Now onto the 6th layer. Simple if opening a whole graph of is this artifact better or worse questions. That is, if the artifact starts with 3 substats or 4 substats, since that isn't even guaranteed for 5-star artifacts. The 7th to follow it up is when you level up an artifact to levels 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20, you get a substat upgraded. The only qualifier for this is if you started with 3 substats, then you lose the level 4 upgrade to gain the missing substat. Finally, the 8th level of RNG would be the fact that every substat has a minimal, low, high, and maximum roll. So everything basically gets multiplied by 4. At least for 5-star artifacts, which is the limit of the question I asked. As for what the final number I came up with from the above after far too many hours trying to logic out the correct order of operations and filtering the excessive and duplicate numbers, 548,352. As for what it was before Dendro was added, 519,792. As for the equation I used, here, pause the video to look at the full thing. I still probably got it wrong. As for what it means, well, long story short, I just stopped caring to figure it out. Cause every time I do, I realize I might have included an additional variable. The problem I think I have now is this underlined section. However, since I bothered to set up an Excel spreadsheet for this, let's do some manipulation questions. What happens if all elemental damage bonuses are condensed into one, down to 376,992? What happens if I remove substat variants, down to 129,948? What happens when we make all 5-star artifacts drop with 4 substats? 275,184. What if we get rid of the enhancement randomness? 214,032. When we combine all of the above? 11,088. A whole 7.392 times the artifact limit. So even if you stripped away most of the variants and used that last number of 11,088, being just over 7 times the inventory limit, it's a problem in my eyes. With as it is right now, 365.568 times the artifact limit is just silly level of fake content. Plus, this whole thing was just potential combinations you can get. It is not accounting for how some stats are rarer than others. So, even if I'm not looking for only unicorn rolls, the fact that good enough is such a vague thing makes me just check out. Like my personal rules do not care for anything that's not a 5-star with 4 substats. I just feel it's not worth the brain power to figure out which artifact is better or worse. With that feeling, it just kills 90% of the system into just being white noise to me. I just don't care about the endless hamster wheel of grind, since if I can't get better artifacts, why bother? If that previous section wasn't clear enough in why I dislike the artifact system, let me now say how I would like it to be. Sorry if I'm being a little armchair game dev here. Considering I would like to make my own games one day, I may as well do some thought exercises like this, even if I can't test them out. So, long story short, swap over to a character ascension based system. To elaborate on that sentence, I am saying every artifact set should come only in one rarity and be a one-time reward, from either domains, quests, or merchants around the world. As for what this means for artifact domains in this system, each one would be set up like world bosses are, where there would be the unique drop and a generic drop that is shared between multiple different domains. Whatever that would look like and how it would be divided up would be down to the developers at miHoYo. Such domains could also drop the generic artifact experience item, or it could go into their own ley line. I would suggest them being red, but, well, you know. Of course that leads into powering up your artifacts. The core would be the basic leveling, which may include ascensions at the developer discretion. The real change would be the addition of 2 new tabs in the artifact menu. One where you would use the above artifact ascension items alongside generic enhancement items to unlock each main stat and each substat, with the other one being how many copies of the artifact you can use in the active party. Let's call it the Echo level, which leads into how equipping your artifacts would change. It would just be a list of every artifact you have unlocked and just being able to select it. Then pick what main stats and substats you want on the artifact from what you have unlocked, with it only becoming active if you don't exceed the Echo level. Does that sound way too easy? Probably if you have gone full sunk cost fallacy in the current system. So let me pull forward some numbers from earlier in the video. To 100% unlock a full set of 5 artifacts, you need to level 5 artifacts to max, unlock 26 main stats, and unlock 243 substats. Sorry, did I not explicitly say that unlocks were artifact specific? For now? Because that's what I meant to imply. So that is more than most would think. Since you would be unlocking each flat attack on a per artifact basis, you would quickly increase the materials needed. Which is why I would make the Echo level be the most expensive part of the artifact. In fact, I would make each successive unlock be more expensive for Echo level, just to incentivize using other artifacts. Of course, this would be neatly wrapped up in the bow of ultimate incentive to unlock every artifact to 100%, by using a similar system to the character ascension reward system here, if taking a page from the event reward screen in terms of looks. After all, there's 37 full 5-piece artifact sets alongside 4 1-piece artifact sets. So, I would say there is some content if you want to go to 100% for all 189 artifacts. The fact that there is around 58 playable characters known about right now should also put that into perspective. So, why do I care about the artifact system being good? Well, because I don't want it to kneecap itself. When I say that, I reference the ending of the world quest, the Millennial Mountains. It could have been cool if it was the only way to obtain the artifact set tenacity of the Millilith, but it isn't. So, frankly, it's just flavored artifact experience as an unwritten reward. Plus the fact that any new character is instantly in the throw random things together if you have spares or on the need to farm a good enough set list. Means I really can't care about any new characters. Like, even if I did pull them, just the thought of having to farm artifacts for them is such a counterpoint to wanting to get invested in getting a new character. However, that is probably because I have Ganyu with good enough artifacts. Admittedly, half the reason Ganyu is good is she can just use the Wanderer's Troop artifact set that comes from world bosses and weekly bosses. So just the value of you will farm up a set while doing other things is great. There's also Spiral Abyss. I am saying this as a week 1 player who just stopped caring about it, when the only way to have done the first Spiral Abyss was get good enough artifacts or get Venti. I didn't get either, and since then, this is as far as I care to go. Admittedly, the cynic in me is saying that is working as intended to limit the amount of primo gems free-to-play players get. But like, how many people wail on the artifact domains? Especially since the paid energy refill is limited to 6 times a day. Admittedly, even then I would want 2 changes to be done to the Spiral Abyss. 1, let a 0-star run be done instead of timeout being failure, so you can move on to the next floor. 2, make it so if you clear floor 12, you can access and complete all the previous floors of the Abyss that have cycled out, so you can get the rewards if you haven't got them already. Also, because I need to edit this in because I forgot about it, no, I don't think the artifact recycle system does anything to move the needle. Since while it does let you target a set and make artifact farming buy 3 get 1 free, it still gives you a random artifact out of 274,176. That is still a lot. It is better than the 5-to-1 I originally remembered it as. Still, it consumes the 3 artifacts to get the new one. So that's less artifact experience. The only advantage I could say was being able to avoid domains you hate. But is 3-to-1 conversion rate really worth it? If MiHoYo does something like I suggested, then I guess I know what I'm streaming. As for anything else I could say about Genshin Impact, it would be I wish Stellar Fortuna would be based off element instead of being character specific. So I don't wind up in the I have all 3 4-stars Constellation 6, but I want the 5-star for the Limited Wish banner. Also, yes, I would want a mix of that system and the artifact systems I described for weapons. Just so I don't have to think as much to keep my inventory straight, especially if it lets you change the substat of the weapon. I might be just crazy in that sense, because I also wish 5-star weapons gave the +3 levels to a character's normal attack like certain constellations do with Elemental Skill and Elemental Burst. If only for the character's signature weapon. Other than that, I would want the energy mechanic to do the same swap that Girls Front Line did with their own, and make it a daily refresh instead of 1 energy per 5 minutes. I can live without such a change, but like, I want it. Anyway, enough of this video. If you listened to the whole thing, thank you for your time. So, might as well do an outro at this point. YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, follow the Twitter, follow the Twitch. Good day, stay safe, and take care of yourself, everyone.